join you from BMW. I'm Drew Hamby. I'm the recruiting specialist for our student programs, which we officially, after 20 years, have a new name called the Gen Next program. This kind of piggybacks off the BMW Next 100 Year strategy that you see there at the bottom. In 2016, BMW celebrated its first 100 years and is focusing on the future. What you're looking at is a drone view of a 1,300-acre facility here in the upstate of South Carolina. We have 7.5 million square feet of workspace on, like I said, 1,300 acres. You can see the Greenville-Spartanburg Airport, the end of the runway in the top left corner. That is very important to us because we have supplies shipped to us from Germany and from around the globe. All of our engines and transmissions come to us, and we are a just-in-time delivery plant, which means we only have enough parts available on the line to build cars for about 2.5 hours. So it's very critical that our supplier and our supply chain has that material to us a day on a timely basis. We average about 2,000 18-wheelers delivering parts here per day. We have 11,000 BMW associates, but if you count our suppliers and contractors, we average about 25,000 people here in a 24-hour period. We are the largest exporter of vehicles in the U.S. and have been for the last 6 years. We are the official home of BMW X models. We make the X3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. With the X7 costing over $110,000 starting price, that brings the average price vehicle leaving our facility to about $75,000. So that's a little bit about the history of BMW. We have been here since 1994 when we produced our first car. So we look for students to start filling this aging workforce. For example, not that I'm counting down, but yesterday I have 4 years and 3 months exactly to retire. So we need to get qualified people into our plant. And prior to this year, we only had one person. Oh, somebody's laughing.
So
Okay. But prior to this year, we had Ethan that you see in the middle running not only our student programs, but our graduate programs as well. And I'll touch on each of those. So this year, we've extended the program, kind of rebranded it with a new name and staffed it very well. I do the recruiting. Dinda de Klerk, she comes from South Africa from our plant Roslyn facility. She joined us this year as well. And so my job is to get the students into the Gen Next student programs for co-op and interns. Dinda oversees your day-to-day operations with your managers, your training plan, your evaluations, and those things. And then if we do our job correctly, all the gears should start turning and we can actually create candidates for Ethan's PACE program, because we believe at BMW that students are driving our future. So we hope that you will be interested in applying for internship or a co-op, but here's a little bit about both of those. The co-op positions are a traditional 3 rotation. The 4th rotations are usually limited for some of the engineering roles that require a German, also a German major as well. So there's very few universities in the U.S. that we use this for, and very few positions that require that 4th rotation. But you would work at BMW for a semester, return to school for a semester, and repeat that process. So that's kind of how our co-op program works, where the internship program is more of a one period. And what I mean by that is if you began in the spring, we would let you stay through the summer as long as you coordinated with the Citadel. The manager has to let us know 6 weeks before the end of your spring rotation that you would be able to stay through the summer. We would also let you start in the summer and stay through the fall. However, we would never let you begin in the fall and stay until the spring. We know this messes up your academic calendar, and we have that agreement with all the universities. So that's kind of how our internship program works. Any student that is eligible for a position must apply through our website, which is listed below the bmwusfactory.com website. Once you're there, you can simply click on the career tab, scroll to the student section, and look at the job finder tab for all of our spring 2021 co-op and internship positions. Now, I know a lot of you are going to ask, so I'm going to go ahead and say this. We do not post for summer and fall of next year until January of next year. With the volume of, we have close to 150 positions, it's just, there's no way that we can handle that type of volume. I'm doing recruiting specifically for 21 positions, and I already have 1,400 candidates that I have to screen. So just to let you know the sheer volume, there's no way my team can post all the positions for the entire year. So if you're interested in a summer or fall position, I want you to recheck on this website coming this January. The last thing I want to talk to you about as far as our programs, this is for graduates. So if you're going to graduate in December or May, I would encourage you to apply to one of two programs. Our PACE program is for recent graduates. It's a very unique program in this industry, to be honest with you, in any industry. This is a program where you rotate between 3 different areas. So if I'm traditionally saying an engineering major, your first rotation would not be in an engineering role. We may put you in logistics and a supply chain role, and I know that seems kind of weird, but what it does is add value to that team by having the engineer in there, the way you think, your training, some of your skill sets that you bring to that area, add value instantly to that team. It also stretches you in a leadership role. So after 8 months, we'll yank you up from there and move you to another area. And then eventually you would move into your engineering role. They do offer workshops for stress management, other courses that you're required to take, and training while you go through this 2-year program. But this is a full-time BMW position. You will be hired straight in after you graduate as a full-time BMW associate with all of the perks that includes. So please look on there if you're going to graduate soon to apply for the PACE program. Our GLDP program, I'll be honest, I'm not an expert on this at all. And the reason is with COVID, we don't have anybody in the program currently. But I do know one of the requirements is that you are proficient in a second language. We're a global company. We have plants in Brazil, Mexico, India, China, all over Europe, South Africa. So a second language is a necessity for that position. You would work for us for roughly 6 months before moving to another BMW facility. And that's about all I know about the Global Leader Development Program. In the past, we focused mainly on compensation for our students. We were one of the biggest players in the upstate. We paid very well. We offered housing, and we realized that we were losing a lot of students after one rotation. We had students from all over the U.S., so our primary recruiting is now a 300-mile radius or less. So with that being said, we wanted to offer our students more because we removed housing. So we went to the biggest player in the upstate to near the bottom when we removed housing. But our managers and our senior management team said, you must get creative with the benefits. And so we focused on thinking we were only touching on the tip of the iceberg. Our vice president of HR actually said compensation is a factor for the student, but content must be the driving force. So starting this spring, the future looks a lot brighter. We're working more on your development while you're here, on your work life and your lifestyle. So we've kind of split that into those 3 buckets. In the past, we only focused on you while you were here. Now we want to do that even before you begin with us. So you will have a virtual handover if you're selected for a position. You'll meet and greet with the team of recruiting and operations for GenNext. You'll also get to meet your hiring manager, possibly your mentor, and if there's a student that's currently in an intern or co-op position in that same department, you can meet them as well virtually. So that way you don't feel as lost as on the day that you get here. We also have what we call our Connect Forum. This is kind of a Facebook type page. Even though we don't offer housing, we have a list of apartment complexes in Greenville and Spartanburg that BMW has already vetted. They offer 3, 4, and 6 month leases, so you wouldn't get stuck with a year-long lease. There's also information for international students on how to get a South Carolina driver's license, how to apply for a Social Security card. There's links to events. We have a program called For Students by Students. So they do Tuesday tennis right now, no doubles due to COVID. They go hiking on the weekends, go to outdoor restaurants, and participate in activities after work hours. So great little site. You can potentially find a new roommate with one of the other incoming students here. There's also a list of host families. BMW does have associates here that have rooms for rent if you want a little more privacy. If you live over 50 miles from BMW or the college that you're attending, we do offer a $400 relocation benefit to be payable upon your first paycheck. So those are the things that we want to do as incentives to get you here. And then while you're here, you will have a full development plan. You will have coaching with a mentor. You'll have a mock evaluation for your final evaluation. We have a training plan. We have e-learn courses that you can actually take online. When you're finished, you can print out certificates, and trust me, they look very nice on your resume. Then in the middle, we call ourselves Team 10, simply by the fact that we were the 10th plant built outside of Germany. Excuse me. And as a BMW associate, we have a ton of perks by simply presenting our BMW ID badge. I can go to Starbucks, get a 5% discount, discounts on haircuts, discount at restaurants, car washes, and things like that. We also have currently the Adidas and Reebok store in Greenville for all BMW associates. Simply show your badge and you get a 50% discount on all their shoes. Kind of neat, and the students have this available to them readily. Then we haven't really updated our wages since 2016. We updated our wages and expect a pay increase yearly for the next 3 years. Then even after you leave BMW, even if you've only done one summer internship, we don't treat our students like they're students. We treat them as part of the BMW family. We give you a uniform allowance after 1 week. Nobody even knows you're a student. They think you're a full-time associate. So when you've been developed, we feel that you are prepared for an entry-level position. And then we want to put you in what we call our potential BMW talent pipeline. So even if there's no jobs available the day you graduate, I can stay in touch with you through recruiting. If a manager has a position open and says, hey, I really want Lee back. He was one of the most outstanding co-ops or interns I ever had. I can reach out to you, give you the information for that job, and then you can apply. And then we want to also make this a little more competitive and be search for the best of the best. So we're going to do priority recruiting. If you are in the top 10%, we'll reach out to you and stay in contact with you. We'll farm your name out to all the managers that need your skill set, tell them that you were the best of the best, and I guarantee you, you will land a position. So these are some of the new things that we have implemented for 2021. The evaluation process, I'll be honest with you, our managers, as my partner Denda with her beautiful South African accent says, or naughty. If a university asks for or sends an evaluation and asks a manager to complete it, our hit rate was about 31%. So that's a horrible image for BMW. We'd rather it be close to 100%. We are already graded on the BMW leadership competency model as professionals here at BMW. Why are we treating our students any different? We didn't think that was a good idea, so we've taken 23 applicable questions from the leadership competency model, which the managers are very familiar with because they have to grade yearly all of their associates on that model. It's based on our 3 pillars on leading yourself, leading in teams, and leading in the business. Now, some schools have asked, is the student on time? Were they dressed professionally? Were they friendly? To us, that's a simple coaching technique right there on the spot for correction, so that doesn't add value. I would much rather ask team questions, for example, under leading in teams, how are you innovative? How are you collaborative with your teammates? So these are more in-depth questions, and with one click of a button, the manager can also send the evaluation back to your school. So with that, I want to thank you for your time today. I'll stop sharing my screen, and please feel free to ask me any question that you would.